And with that, we're live. Hello there, I am bloody wrecked. Okay, so might get that louder. That's doable. Testing, how's that for you? Okay, live. Okay. Artemis, how's that? You there? Let's fix this one top down to light Okay, wait. Testing. How's that? Oh, why am I? Oh, God. I'm asking. So louder. Testing now. Testing louder. How's that? You still there? Come on. Almost. Is that good? Okay, that's good. Okay, anyways, thanks for helping calibrate that. It is difficult to get, okay. I'm gonna quickly pause for 1 second. There is something I have to do. Yeah, sorry about that. So, anyways, part 3. Come on, download this. Oh, interesting, I noticed. The reason why part 1 is below 2 and 3 is that's not part 1. That's part I. Congratulations. Now you will never ever unsee it. Ever. So, this is... Sorry, a lot's happening at once right now. The day was lovely and quiet, and now it's just ramped up bonkersly. Anyways, so today we are dealing with 2 main things. Well, 1 main thing really. It's a far simpler assignment than last week. It is basically to read data from a file. And that's it. We do a few minor things with it, but nothing too intensive. So, come on, enable editing. Yeah, that's good. And I'm going to drag you to the right there. And, okay. 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 And, CS4222, this one. So, oh, come on. Windows is normally pretty good with snapping, but sometimes it decides just to go really funky. There we go. So, start off creating a new folder, new directory, part 3. Part 3. Oh, fake typos. Type the rename. Again, if you've got any issues, please just let me know. I do try to answer as best as I can. Again, I'm learning. So to begin with, we have this skeleton structure, which is this. So I'm going to copy that. Well, yank the name first. New Java class dictionary. Yep, I do want to edit the Git, and I'm gonna just copy the contents in. So yeah, I'm just gonna import that so that's happy. And we also need sample.csv. I'm gonna do the interesting thing of just grabbing that sample.csv from my own solution. Yeah, so there we go. That is the sample he gives us. Yeah, it looks boring enough, but we've got to deal with a few cases. He may actually test it on a different CSV, so we've got to just make it work not just for this one, but for any genuine CSV. It's pretty grand. And so, let's go this way. So, need to save it, commit, feed, add SKELETON for part 3. Again, sorry, I'm a bit distracted today. So, skeleton for part 3 and commit. Again, on these when we up. Oh wait, I'm blocking it there. You can see most of it above my head. That's fine. There we go. There we go. Okay, great. So we have skeleton in, and we've got to add in a few methods. So the answers, yeah, we've got to have the dictionary method, which is grand. We also have to have the boolean add method. We would also have to have the nextWord, which returns a string, and inDictionary. Notably, for the assignment this time, we have to put a slight bit more nuance into the driver, and so that is marked a tile higher than last time. Driver this time is worth 8 marks out of 25, so a third. Thankfully, the main one is a lot simpler to work on, so let me just give these just basic return values to get it to shut up. Return false. Return a string. Return a string and return false. And update SKUE to 1. Skeleton. Okay, so let's get this straight. So I am actually gonna take my own project up, so that's visible for myself. It's easy enough to copy code if I can copy it for myself. Driver, I need dictionary. So we need to take this file and pop the words which are in between the shortest and the longest into this array list. So let's do this. So well, first of all, we need to have try catch. Try catch. Try that E. So, and the error won't be IO exception this time round. Yeah, it's given a pile of errors to me now, ironically. So what we need is something like scanner. This is copied from his own notes and whatnot. Data source equals new scanner. Okay. And we need to do path dot of, and to see what it needs a string, so we're gonna give that a string that's called file path, which it just happens to be the one that we're using up here. So that will give back a scanner. Actually, this is more the labs than anything else. So if I actually, what's this, week 7? I think it was week 7. It's been a while. Control F, SCANER, yeah, week 7. Yeah, so, yeah. I'm actually gonna split this up a tad bit, because let's go with what's in the new, what's in the lab. So, you get going. So, from the week 7 lab, question 6 was this. We had to just count how many lines there were in the file. Very simple thing. We have to do a tad bit more this time round, so that's grand. But what we can do is copy the code and modify it. So copy that in, blah blah blah, and you see lines unused, lines not being used. So, and now interesting thing is, so this is a while loop. Whenever data source has a next line, it will do the next iteration of the loop, which is good and grand. But what we need to do is we need to pull out data from it. So we need to figure out what's on that line. So string line equals data source at next line, because next line returns a string. You can see when I hover over here. And then, so we need to take that string and we need to see if there's anything. Split it up by comma. So string array, because we're splitting it up to multiple subsections. Line split equals line dot split. And for that we are going to use comma. So we're going to split the line on every comma, and that's going to give us an array of items. Oh, before on that we need to actually make sure words is an array list. Words equals new array list, and just there. Basically we need to set up words, and private final. I'll come back to this in a little bit, why this is popping up yellow, because it is a fascinating reason and will be really nice. I also need to make sure that this exception is doing something. So file out, yeah, so just printing out file does not exist. Very simple error handling. If something goes wrong, it assumes that the file does not exist. So now that we have our line, we have to figure out the words on it. So we go an enhanced for loop for string words, well, word, and line split. So this will go through every string in line split. So we have to do two more things. We have to trim it. Okay, so where I got the splitting part is in the description itself. You have to split it up. The second thing is this other tip called trim, because that only splits on the character that it's looking for. If you've got spaces or tabs or whatnot beforehand, I need to block WhatsApp there, it's annoying. Yeah, there we go. Don't really want those stuff leaking. So when we split it, it may have spaces, tabs, whatnot, ahead and beyond, and we don't know where they are. We don't want them, we don't need them. So we need to go string string word TRIMMAD equals word dot trim. Again, you may see that my variable names are extremely intelligent. Literally describing what's happened to them at that point. I don't like to take real code garm shortcuts where everything has to be as short as possible. I like to be able to read and understand what's going on. So this has been trimmed, which is good. Now the next part is that we have to use these two, shortest and longest. So we need to figure out, can this word fit within the shortest and the longest? And for that, that's fairly simple. If word trimmed length is greater than equal to, the equal to is because it says where is it? It says inclusive. Yes, inclusive. So that includes the number that we're looking for. So greater or equal to shortest, and word dot trimmed dot length is less than or equal to longest. We can take that as being good. We can insert it in. Except there's one more thing. We have to have it so that duplicates are not allowed. Ooh, that's interesting, is it not? So, that's very simple. We have done that before. So, we just need to have another if statement. I'm nestling it inside it just for convenience in my case. Words dot contains and word trimmed. Ooh, wait, there's one more thing before that. String word u is equals word trimmed dot to uppercase. And this is because he wants words to be stored in the list in uppercase. So we go there and we just double check if the list contains the uppercase word. And what does contains? Oh yes. So if it does not contain, we go words dot add word uppercase. So that's good. And now at the end of all that, we need to sort it. So this will loop through every line. It will split it up. It will trim the word down. It will convert it to uppercase. It will check if it's the right length, and it will check if it already exists in it. And then after all that, we have to do words dot sort. And what's it again? It is no, fuck, I need to just Google this. This is not how I'm actually doing this myself. You can see that I do need to, oh yes, collections.sort. I am using a different method myself, so collections, you need to import that, and words. So this part handles adding in the words. This sorts it, and the reason why we don't have to add a function to sort it is because it's going to do it in natural order. So it will sort automatically A, B, C, D, E. Numbers will become before letters, and symbols will come after letters. That's what it meant by natural sorting. And it just so happens that alphabetical order is what we're looking for with that. So that there is the part 1 complete. And so we can do feature dictionary complete. Typos, and we'll ignore the warnings for the moment, because yes, there are warnings. You can see there's actually 9 on this page, and that's basically IntelliJ saying, this doesn't seem quite right. Are you sure you want to do it this way? We can get back to it. So this part is a tad more interesting because we're doing the exact same thing. So we need to grab this, yoink this part here, and we need to sort it at the end. Well, in here actually. Oh, and this is right. Everything else works fine, but notice there's no shortest or longest. So we're gonna have to figure a way to use them here. And the easiest way is a private int shortest. Private int longest. And fix up the spacing there to make it neat. And we need to go let's do this. This dot words equals a new array list. This dot shortest equals shortest. This dot longest equals this dot longest. Oh, not this, longest. There we go. And for good measure, I'm going to just use this shortest, this longest, this words, blah blah blah, and there we go. And let's just save a segment of that, because we don't need to save this yet. Fix, because we're fixing it up. Fix directly save the required variables. You could also do this another way, in which you just pass through the variables to here, but it's not so neat. So we're saving these, and let's copy this again so it's unambiguous. Collections.words.oo. I did not mean to commit that. Undo commit. And there we go. And this are words, this are words, this are words. This, yep, that's grand. When you're committing stuff, you can fairly easily undo it if it's local, but if you pushed it up to something like GitLab or Hub, then it becomes a bit more of an issue, but still doable. I don't know the commands to do it off the top of my head, but I don't need to know the commands to do it off the top of my head. I just Google that. So this is the add. Again, it's very similar to up here, but we need to return a boolean. And so what we can do is on this the exact same as above, and return true. So basically it goes through the if statements, it goes through, checks it, and it needs to sort the collection just to make sure it remains in that big. Oh, see. So same thing as up above, checks the length, is it within it, does it exist, and then if it doesn't, it adds it, it sorts it, and then returns true. And so feet add complete using previous code. Oh, I need to select file instead. Okay, so where do we go from here? This part is something I do recommend you look for, the binary search. I have it as part of the challenges to upgrade this code that I've got here with binary search. I'll talk more about the challenge afterwards because I'm doing it a tad bit different this time. But anyways, nextWord. So if the dictionary is empty, then the method returns an empty string. That's easy. So if this dot words dot size is equals to 0, return an empty string. Else we can just get a random number, which is even though I've been doing this for how long now? I still cannot get the random number code into my head, so I'm just gonna yoink it from myself. So random yoink words.size. So this will get a random number between 0 and the max size of the list. And I just need to go this dot words dot get, and I need to just get a random index, so random. So there we go. Next word, really simple. If there's nothing, return an empty string. Else get a random word in the list. Shouldn't be too complex. Feet next word feet. And now inDictionary. This is pretty one. So again, we're gonna use much the same code as up here. Yoink it from up there. You see, we're trimming the word, making sure that there's space at our end. We're converting it to uppercase, and then we go yoink this code here. We don't need it. So if word contains word uppercase, return true. And that's good. However, notice that IntelliJ is orange here, and it's realizing that this is the if statement and this here is the else statement, and this up at the very top, the contains, returns a boolean. So we can just go and simplify it. So if it contains it, it returns true. If it doesn't, it returns false. Fairly simple. IntelliJ is making sure that we are not going too roundabout if we can avoid it. So feet complete. And for user, my spelling is bloody atrocious. So there are a few errors in this to take note of. First of all is words may be final. This is an interesting one because we are dealing with an array list. Yes, we are adding items to the array list, but remember what words itself points to. It is a reference. So the reference that the words points to will not change. So all we can do is just set this to private, to final actually, because words will not change. The content of it will, but where it starts and where it's pointing to, that won't. Okay, the second part is shortest and longest may be final. The reason why it's saying this is because once it's set here, it's only ever used but never updated. So let's give this the final treatment as well. And boom, pile of errors just vanished. There are a few minor ones, like class dictionary is not used, only functions here are not used. We didn't get to that, that's what the driver is for. So anyway, save those. Made variables final. Like, Dermot will probably tell us to, if you're making them final, make them all in caps, but I don't like that myself. Yeah, it would be nice to visually see it, but the days of having to visually look at code like that without an IDE should be well and gone. If you end up in a place where you have to do it in terminal, good luck. So anyways, so that is the dictionary. Now for the driver. We go new Java class driver, blah, 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 and boom, add. And now it asks a couple of things. We have to use the main method, because main will automatically is what you pass the arguments to. So the first variable is the final path, the second is shortest, the third is longest. So let's go and just make sure that we have the right length. We don't care if it's too long, but we have to make sure that those three are there. So if args.length is less than 3, and then we can go and just print out error messages for each of the subsections. So if args.length is equals to 0, we go system out the print line, find path is missing. Find path is missing, and then we just return. I am not gonna account for mixing and matching them, because that is far too much hassle. So if the length is 1, it means that the next one in the chain, the shortest, is missing. And if the length is 2, because remember on this is less than 3, it means the largest is missing. And because that's it. Let's just go less than 2, less than 1. So it will print out the error messages in sequence. So if there's no arguments passed in, this one print out, then this one print out, then this one print out. And then that's the first part about it. The 3 parameters must be present. Now we need to convert the 2 number ones into numbers. They're currently strings. Oh god, I got really pissed off. So that's good to know. When you're not well, for a moment I thought you were oblivious, but never mind. So okay. So shortest, int shortest equals integer dot pass int, and it is args and 1. Longest is the exact same except minor tweak in the index, so int longest equals part 2. Now this should be fine. Those values should exist because they are there. Like if it gets to here, we know that there's 3 or more arguments. We don't care if there's 4 or 5 or 6 arguments. We only care that there's 3 because we're using the 3. And now dictionary. Word list. Words equals new dictionary. So file path, which is args 0, shortest, longest, and finish that off. And the next part is I'm gonna move you split and move right. Wait, split and there we go. Don't know how that got closed. So okay, so that is, I'm just gonna close the Word document at the moment. We're past the stage of needing it for the spec. Okay, sorry, coffee's good. Coffee's always good. You can see that this is now yellow, implying that it's being used. What other ones do we have to use? Oh yeah, so say we have a word string. Word equals, this is CS4222. And now we need to check if it's in the dictionary. So if words dot in dictionary word, and if it's not in the dictionary, we need to add it. Add it. Else. Print, not ln, and we just go word. It's just in case that ever wants to change. Word is not word, not in dictionary. Dictionary? Yeah, I need a dictionary. Is. and so we can go edit words dot add word, and now let's just put in added. Actually, let's just go. I'm yoinking from myself again because why not? There we go. No need for this. So word, which is there, goes in there, not in dictionary. And now, see this? Add is a boolean. So if add word, we can then go and the word is added to the dictionary, or if we're lucky, it's not added. And now let's just go copy this. You will hear me saying a lot here. Copy a lot of times. So now let's run it again, and there we go. So if it's not in the dictionary, it prints off that. If it does, blah blah blah. And now we need to use the last method. Edit. Check. Dictionaries. Edit. Check again. Grabber. System.out.print system.out.println words dot nextWord. So there we go. Dictionary. Gotta love the dictionary in this. It is making sure. Hello there, how are you? It's making sure that I actually type correctly. So save that off is feet and driver complete. Connect. Okay. Okay, that is good. So before I finish up, since that part is finished, let's go and talk about the challenges for this week. So this week I have changed it up a tad, since there are basically two levels of folks in the class. There are the folks who have prior experience, which are the ones who could actually do my challenges before, and there are the folks that are learning and need points and prods in the right direction. So I split up challenges into A and B this time. Hello again. So A is for anyone who really needs the code I just did, because you're kind of half lost and wondering how to get things done. So the A is to push you further. So in my code, you will notice that there's oh god, let me just yank this to the side. Close that, close that, close that. There we go. So first thing is in the A is that there is duplication. You see that there's a couple of places where the same code is multiple times, and you can just make it work better. The second thing is something that Dermot himself recommends, and that is using collections.binary certs. I've got the link here to get you find more information on it, and you can do a lot with it. And basically it can tell you where the word is if it's in the list, or where it should be if it's not in the list. There's a little bit of math involved in figuring out the correct place if it's not in the list, but you should be grand. And you can use that to figure out where to put a word without needing to resort the collection every time. For the folks who do want a better challenge, this assignment is to deal with reading the files, so how about writing the files? I've got a few things that I want you to take a look at, and basically you print out into a file in certain ways. The first one is having things maximum 80 characters wide. So that top line just so happens 80 characters wide. Really nice thing to work with, because you can see that some lines are less but don't go over. If trouble was on here, it would definitely go over. And the second, oh wait, oh, that header one, not supposed to have that. I'll fix that there in a minute. The second one, modified 1, because I'm doing serial indexing, is to have it so that it prints out as an @1 CSV. The file that Dermot gave us is technically a CSV and will work in almost anything that accepts a CSV file. However, there are some programs that will throw a hissy fit over it because it is not what they expect. Every time there's a line with only one word, there's just nothing after it. There's no commas, no nothing to signify empty space. So your task is to A, give it a header row, which in this case is word 1 to 9. You've got to find out how many max columns there are yourself. And then, so it's alphabetical. So the first row is the A's, the next row is the B's, the C's, the D's, and blah blah blah. All compressed up like this, so that if there's a letter missing, then it's literally no row there. But what you must do is see the commas. The commas will be like word 1, word 2, word 3, word 4, word 5, word 6, word 7, word 8, and word 9. They signify the empty spaces, the empty cells in the spreadsheet, if you will. And so that makes it a uniform CSV that will work in basically any program you throw it into. And basically, it's CSV files are hell to deal with. I've done with them, and I want to pass that pain on to you. So, any final questions before we head off? And you can't see it, but I'm waving. The animation doesn't capture hands. It only captures the face. Quite good though. So, questions or whatnot. How's voice? Can you hear me fine? Ominous was saying earlier that it was not loud enough, so hopefully it is loud enough now. Nothing? Okay. Right then. If you have any issues, you know where to find me. Hopefully you don't have issues. And again, anyone in the class, I do recommend you take a good hard look at it and get it done before next weekend. I am far more willing to help folks who have work done before the last day. Anyways, farewell. I'm gonna add time stamps to the description in a little bit in case you need to look and go back and forth. But anyways, I'm off. Farewell.